Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Chrisley breaks silence about who really put his parents in prison. Chrisley knows best. Fans have been following the family since Todd and Julie were granted a presidential pardon, granting them an early release from prison. Since then, various members of the family have opened up about their story, Todd and Julie's original sentencing, and what happens now. Recently, Chrisley has opened up about his parents' story and what put them behind bars. Chrisley knows best. Fans saw Todd and Julie Chrisley receive a pardon from President Trump back in May. Chrisley is Todd and Julie's oldest child together. Many fans were introduced to him and his family through the USA Network reality series, Chrisley Knows Best. Back in 2022, Todd and Julie were sentenced to a combined 19-year sentence on charges including bank fraud and tax evasion. This past May, however, saw the couple receive a presidential pardon from President Donald Trump. Recently appeared on the J Followers YouTube channel, where he opened up about his parents' arrest. During the moment, he made shocking claims over who he felt was to blame for his parents' initial arrest. As the interview went on, it was mentioned that there was speculation concerning Chase's half-siblings Lindsay and Kyle, possibly having something to do with actually sending Todd and Julie to prison. When asked if there was any truth to the story, Chase shared, as far as, working against us with the government. 100% they did. Chase then asked for clarification if they outright said they were not involved with the arrest. The interviewer noted, "Well, it wasn't necessarily that they came out, but it was a lot of stuff online. Maybe they posted, or, interviews they've done." Chrisley said he would forgive, but not forget. Chase reiterated, "Yes, they did." He continued, "The FBI letter that I'm not even going to say her name, but that she wrote was read in court, and she was sitting next to me." He then continued to describe the situation with his siblings as heartbreaking. When asked about Lindsay and Kyle's relationship with the family, Chase noted, "I can't speak for my whole family, but I know how my dad raised us to when people tell you who they are to when they show you who they are, believe them. And that's what we have had to go through. It was a lot of pain. It was a lot of trauma. And I'm never going to put myself in that position again and be hurt." Chase continued, "So, I do not have a relationship with either one of them. I wish them nothing but the best. But no, that chapter of that book is taken out for me." However, he added that he forgave them but said he wouldn't forget. For months, Chrisley kept quiet. While the world speculated and headlines screamed of fraud, deceit, and drama, he stood silently behind a thick wall of denial, disbelief, and rage. But on a hot July afternoon, with the weight of family secrets clawing at his chest, Chase finally broke his silence, and what he said left everyone stunned. Sitting on a beige leather couch in a rented Nashville condo, far from the opulent Georgia mansion the Chrisley family once called home, Chase looked visibly different. Gone was the cocky smirk that made him a fan favorite on Chrisley Knows Best. In its place, a hardened stare, a jaw set with determination, and eyes that carried the weariness of someone who had seen too much too soon. "It's time," Chase said, adjusting his mic for the unscripted tell-all he chose to film himself. "I've kept quiet for too long. Everyone thinks they know what happened, but they don't. My parents didn't end up behind bars because they're criminals. They ended up there because someone we trusted stabbed us in the back." Chase took a deep breath before naming names. "The truth is, it was Mark Braddock," he said slowly, each syllable cutting like a blade. "He was once like family to us. He worked with my dad, called himself his friend, even claimed to be like a brother. But behind the scenes, he was building a case, working with the feds, feeding them half-truths, covering up his own involvement." The name hit like a thunderclap. Braddock had been a silent figure in court documents, a former business partner turned whistleblower. But until now, No Chrisley had directly called him out with this level of venom and specificity. Chase didn't hold back. He made a deal. That's what people don't get. He sold my family out to save his own skin. He admitted to committing fraud with my dad. But instead of serving time, he got immunity. All he had to do was say my dad knew everything. Not just with anger, but with years of bottled-up frustration. I watched my parents cry themselves to sleep. I watched Savannah have to become a mom overnight. I watched Nanny Faye try to hold it together, even while battling cancer. And all because someone wanted to be the hero of his own movie. As the video continued, Chase revealed details the public had never heard before. Allegations that Braddock manipulated emails, fabricated documents, and intentionally led investigators toward Todd and Julie, while shielding others who were just as involved. My dad's not perfect, Chase admitted. None of us are. But you're telling me he goes to prison, and the guy who helped commit the fraud is sitting free in his living room, watching this all play out on the news. Chase also took aim at the prosecution's approach. They wanted to make an example out of us. We were the flashy Southern family on reality TV, easy targets, the perfect scandal. But instead of justice, what we got was a performance, a public execution of our name and reputation. For a brief moment, his voice cracked. There were days I hated everything, the cameras, the fans, even God. But you know what pulled me through? Knowing my parents never stopped believing the truth would come out. And now, I'm going to make sure it does. In the final few minutes, Chase turned his attention to the future. I'm not just talking, he said. I'm working with attorneys. We're digging into every document, every email, every testimony. We're finding the holes in the story the prosecution never wanted people to see. And if we have to drag this all the way to the Supreme Court, we will. He leaned forward, eyes burning. This isn't about fame anymore. It's about justice. And in true Chrisley fashion, Chase couldn't help but end on a defiant note. To anyone who thinks the Chrisleys are over, nah, we're just getting started. Following the release of the video, which racked up over 3 million views within 48 hours, social media exploded. Supporters flooded the comments section with prayers, applause, and cries of "Free Todd and Julie." Critics, meanwhile, called it a distraction, an attempt to shift blame. But one thing was undeniable. Chase had set a new fire ablaze. Legal analysts began dissecting his claims. Talk show hosts debated whether this could be grounds for a retrial. Even celebrities weighed in. Savannah posted a tearful reaction video, saying, "I'm so proud of Chase for finally saying what we've all been thinking. It's time to flip the script." Meanwhile, the Chrisleys' legal team issued a short but cryptic statement. New evidence has come to light. Stay tuned. Whether Chase's bold move will change the course of the case remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the silence is over, and Chase Chrisley isn't backing down. As the camera faded out and the final frame lingered on his sullen face, Chase left viewers with a haunting message. You may think you know the story, but trust me, you've only heard the version they wanted you to hear.